Is it Saturday already? Have we made it through yet another week of Star Wars news? Oh yeah, this is going to be quite the fun stream as the next episode of The Bad Batch is titled The Return. Who is that referring to? Asajj Ventress? Somebody else? Cad Bane? Captain Rex? Or maybe even someone we haven't talked about just yet. We got a lot to talk about today regarding the Mandalorian movie with Mandalorian and Grogu that comes out in 2 years. And also, Andor Season 2 might be coming sooner than we expected. We got a lot to talk about today, so let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday afternoon? Again, we got a lot to talk about today, so let's get some hype in the chat, please. Smash a freaking like on this stream as you're coming in, and let's talk about this next episode for The Bad Batch, okay? Let me open up the chat so I can see what everybody's talking about. What's up, Austin? How we doing? All right, so let's talk about The Bad Batch. Andor, yes, Andor, we got some news for Andor. We'll get to that in a little bit. So let's talk about The Bad Batch fifth episode, sorry. The upcoming 5th episode of The Bad Batch is coming this week. And the title of it is The Return. Now, this could be referring to a bunch of different things, but I think most likely the return is Asajj Ventress. Now, tell me, of course, in the chat if you think it's something else, if you think it's Crosshair returning to the Bad Batch, if you think it's the return of Cad Bane and Fennec Shand in this episode, which is probably going to happen, or if you think it's the return of Captain Rex, who knows? Whatever you think the return is, put it in the chat, obviously, and smash a freaking like on the stream. But, if you haven't yet. But, The Return is the title of this 5th episode. It's kind of crazy that we're already on episode 5, but that's just for another time, I guess. So, The Return. I honestly think The Return is Asajj Ventress. Now, there's many episodes of Star Wars content on Disney Plus that have different meanings to the title. The Mandalorian does this the most, where there's usually 2 meanings behind each title of an episode. And that could be a similar scenario here with The Return, possibly referring to, obviously, Crosshair's return to the Bad Batch, but also Asajj Ventress' return to the big screen. Now, why is Asajj's return such a big deal? Well, we've talked about it many, many times before, with her canon death in the book The Dark Disciple, because the Dark Disciple book is canon, and she technically dies at the end of the book. So, her return is just as crazy as almost any other character who is dead returning in Star Wars as well. What's up, Tiffany? What's up, Star Wars politics? Austin says it could mean Ventress or it could mean Wolf. So Wolf is another good option because Wolf we already seen in the trailer for this 3rd season, so he is 100% going to be in this 3rd season. So his return is probably a big one, but it's not big enough to maybe make the entire title of an episode. I don't think, but that's just me. Star Wars Politics says, I think it could just mean Crosshair. That's definitely a possibility. It could just mean Crosshair, but usually these episodes have multiple meanings. Even the last one with a different approach had multiple meanings to it. So yeah. Tiffany, what's up? Dustin Kennedy, what's up? Says, I wonder if Commander Doom will show up and join Captain Rex. I feel like we could see a bunch of familiar faces from the Clone Wars. I just don't know which ones. And to join Captain Rex, I don't know. We'll see. I think Wolf and Gregor are the most likely because they're the 2 that survive. They're the 2 that survive. Yeah. Jay, what's up? Says, yo, Mike, what is up? Have the same shirt on right now? You have the same shirt that I have on right now? That is crazy. That is awesome. This is a cool shirt. Got the nice TIE Fighter shirt on today. Nice TIE Fighter shirt, you know? Knights of Melvin says, I miss my anti-watch parties. You know, Melvin, the Bad Batch is coming out right now. You could still be doing anti-watch parties. What's up, Melvin? I appreciate you being here. Yeah, you could definitely still be doing those anti-watch parties. I don't know what you're waiting for, you know? Can we get some freaking likes on this stream? What the hell's going on here? Got 12 people in here and only 3 likes? What's up with that? What's up with that? Hey, Melvin, who do you think's the return from this week's episode of The Bad Batch? Tiffany says, I agree with Star Wars Politics. I feel like it has to do with Crosshair and his return with Wrecker and Hunter in their whole dynamic. Well, yeah, we know that Crosshair's coming back. We know Crosshair's coming back, and he's obviously... We got the reunion at the end of the last episode. It was pretty sad, to say the least. A lot of us shed a tear. I actually did not, because I am holding out hope that there's going to be a happy ending at the end of this season. No. We got the reunion at the end of the last episode. And Omega was very sad, Hunter was very sad, Wrecker was very sad. But then they saw Crosshair, and they looked angry, like straight up angry. So I don't know what's going on with that, but we've seen Crosshair in the trailers. We've seen Crosshair with his armor on in the trailer, so that return kind of already happened. So I feel like this being the title of the next episode has a greater meaning to it. Yeah. Chris, what's up? Says, what's up, Mike? I'm going to see Dune Part 2 tonight at 4:15. 4:15, you mean in like 9 minutes? Or are you in a different time zone? That's awesome. I actually want to go see Dune Part 2. It's getting unbelievable reviews. It's at like a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Everyone I've talked to who's seen the movie has said incredible things. Here's my thing with Dune, okay? Here's my thing with Dune. Part 1 of Dune, the first Dune, whatever you want to call it, I watched it so many years ago that I honestly forget what happened, and I don't remember it being like the greatest movie I've ever seen type thing. Like, I didn't remember it blowing my balls off, you know? So going to watch Dune 2 is not at the top of my priority list. Yes, I do want to go see it in the movie theater, because the movie theater is where you're supposed to see movies, and it's a way better experience, in my personal opinion, is going to the movie theater and seeing a movie. So I do want to go rewatch the first Dune and then go watch the second Dune in the theaters. I may have gotten the ending spoiled for me already, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that, as long as it's something I don't really care too much about. Yeah. Fearless, what's up? How's everybody doing? I'm doing good today, Fearless. I'm doing good. I'm excited for this stream. Austin Snow says, are you ready for Battlefront Classic Collection? Yeah, so the Battlefront Classic Collection, we've talked about it before, but again, I'll remind you guys, it comes out on March 14th. March 14th is the remastering of the first 2 Battlefront games from 2004 and 2005. Those games are being re-released March 4th. 14th, not March 4th. 14th. Friggins, what's up? What is up? Knights of Melvin says, Ahsoka is probably the return. Hang on. I can't see the full chat here. Oh. Ahsoka is probably the return. Oh, Ahsoka, you think is the return in the... You think Ahsoka's going to be in the Bad Batch Season 3, Melvin? What do you guys think about that? Do you think Ahsoka could be in the Bad Batch? I don't think she could, actually. I think Tales of the Jedi tells us that she can't. Because in Tales Season 1, we see Ahsoka, and she's kind of like not... She's in hiding, you know? When that Inquisitor comes to hunt her down, she's in hiding. She's not helping out with the rebellion. So she wouldn't really be helping out with the Bad Batch just yet. Dustin says, I hope we get to see a clone rebellion. I think a clone rebellion is going to happen in this season at some point, just because all those clones that are trapped on Mount Tantus are probably going to escape at some point. But we'll see. Melvin says, it's Dave's favorite character. He will never let her go. Yeah. But I don't think she'll be in the Bad Batch. I don't think so. But I get what you're talking about. Robust, what's up, says, Dune 2 was better and more memorable than Dune 1, 100%. All right, I'm going to have to go check it out. I'm definitely going to go watch it. 1,000%. I've just, it's not like, I must go see it now, you know? I'm kind of like, I got to go watch the first one again, and then I'll go watch the movie. I don't know when I'll get around to it type thing, you know? But I trust you, Robust. I do. Chris says, have you seen Dune Part 2? Okay, here we go. Have you seen Dune Part 2? I heard there might be a Dune Part 3, or Dune Part 3 is possible. Yeah, I think it's going to be a trilogy when all is said and done. So yeah, I think there will be a third one for sure. Yeah. All right, let's start up a poll here before we go any further. Who do you think the return is referring to? I can't type today. So our first option is going to be Asajj Ventress, which is my favorite option. Asajj Ventress. Then we'll just go Crosshair, because everybody likes that one, I guess. Crosshair. Then we're going to go with Cad Bane. Actually, I'm going to put Cad Bane and Fennec in the same answer. because we only get 4 answers, you know? Fennec Shand. And then our 4th option is going to be somebody else. And if you have somebody else, just put it in the chat. All right? Or other. We'll just put other. All right, you tell me. Whoop. Wait. 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 Okay, you tell me. You tell me. And while you're at it, smash a freaking like on the stream. How do we only have 7 likes on this stream? All right, let's see. Where was I? Okay, Friggins, what's up? Anthony says, hi, Mike. Since seeing The Mandalorian Season 3's The Foundling episode, I hope we see Jar Jar, Padme, Queen Apolana of Naboo, Quinlan, etc. We are in the early creators of they were the early creators of the Hidden Path. Jar Jar was? Padme is dead at this time. This is after Order 66. She'd be dead. No, Anthony? No? Would she not be dead? Would Padme Amidala not be dead after Order 66 when she dies of sadness? Answer the question, Anthony. I gots to know. But yeah, I think the Hidden Path is definitely going to be something that's alluded to in this 3rd season a lot. Jar Jar is an interesting one because Jar Jar is not seen in after the prequel trilogy at all. And it would be kind of cool to see him somewhere along the lines. And we have something to talk about regarding that, actually, as Ahmed Best posted on his Instagram something pretty damn interesting. But we'll get to that later on in the stream. Yeah, we'll get to that later. We'll get to it later because that's not really on topic right now. Star Wars Politics says, when Ventress returns, do you think that we will... do you think we will get much of the backstory? I kind of think they will keep it vague. I definitely think they will keep it vague with Asajj Ventress's return, because I think they're going to explain it in Tales of the Jedi Season 2. This is definitely not the last we'll be seeing of Asajj even this year, because Tales comes out this year. So I think Asajj will be still here, you know? Catherine, what's up? Yeah, so I think they'll keep it vague, and then Ventress's return will be explained in Tales of the Jedi Season 2. I also think Asajj Ventress is getting the next show after this. So, yeah. Yeah. Jay says, I think Filoni will find a way to put her in it. Put Ahsoka in it. He is, as Melvin says, she is Dave Filoni's favorite character. So if Ahsoka was to show up in the Bad Batch, I don't think it would make sense at all. But, Dave Filoni's not as involved as you might think in this Bad Batch Season 3. It's mostly Jennifer Corbett and Brad Rao. So it's the 2 of them sort of finishing off this final season of the Bad Batch. Dave Filoni is obviously credited as a producer, and he probably worked on it a bit, but he didn't work on it as much as you'd think. Yeah. Friggin says, I love Ahsoka, but we've seen so much of her lately. Yeah, that too. The Ahsoka show came out last year. So Ahsoka show on Ahsoka coming in the Bad Batch wouldn't really make too much sense, especially when Tales of the Jedi explained that she's in hiding at this time. And we don't really know. Does anybody know what time in the Star Wars? Somebody find this. Somebody chat. I'm giving you a quest. Find out when in the timeline Ahsoka fights that Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi Season 1, when she cuts off that Inquisitor's head. Find out when that happens in the timeline. Because when is it even possible that Ahsoka could be in this Bad Batch Season 3? Is it a possibility at all? It's me. What's up? Says, what do you think will be announced at the next Star Wars Celebration? That's a great question. Next Star Wars Celebration, we will get a trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, a title announcement of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, even though we already know it's the Mandalorian and Grogu. You'll probably get a title announcement for the Rey movie, but probably not a trailer just yet. You'll get an announcement for the next animated show, I'm sure. But then other than that, I don't really know. Ahsoka Season 2, maybe, if that's ready to go at that point. A lot of it's going to be announcements that we don't even think, you know? Like, you can't even think of what they're going to announce because we don't know it yet. Like, think about the Mandalorian show in general. We had no idea that the Mandalorian show was being made until it was announced. Andor, a prequel to Rogue One, a character who died in Rogue One, spoiler alert, a character who died in Rogue One is getting a prequel show. We did not expect that at all. The Bad Batch. The Bad Batch were characters that were introduced in Season 7 of the Clone Wars. So how would we know that that show was even coming? So stuff like that, we don't know it could be coming as an announcement at Star Wars Celebration next year. So there's a lot that we don't know, that we could just speculate about, that we could theorize about, like a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, the rise of Ben Solo show, like any of that stuff. A High Republic show, who knows? We just don't. So I hope that we get to see some really cool announcements at next year's Star Wars Celebration. I just don't know what they will be. I don't know. It's a great question, though. Friggin says, I'm hoping for Boba, voiced by Daniel Logan. Daniel Logan voiced the clone cadets in that second episode. Somebody said that in the chat, and I fact-checked them, and they were right. Daniel Logan voiced one of the clone cadets in episode 2 of The Bad Batch Season 3. So it's possible that he comes back and does some more. That'd be cool. If Boba shows up. Do you guys think Boba will be in this third season? Do you think Boba Fett, the brother, the only other unaltered clone brother of Omega, do you think we'll see him in this third season? Anthony says, I absolutely think that we will get some backstory of Ventress in the Bad Batch. Really? I don't think so. I think they're going to bring her in and leave fans to speculate about it until Tales of the Jedi Season 2 comes out. They like to kind of leave some loose ends to tie up later on because it allows the Star Wars fandom to speculate about it, you know? Yeah, no? Austin says, just think for the finale, it could be called Clone Rebellion. So let's talk about this a little bit, okay? All the episodes for The Bad Batch were announced. They were announced before the show even began. Hang on, let me find this Bad Batch. They were announced before The Bad Batch even began. So what's interesting about this is, as I pull it up here, these are all the announced titles for the Bad Batch episodes. Now, we've already watched the first 4, so Confined, Paths Unknown, Shadow of Tantus, and Different Approach is all the ones we've already seen. Now, the return, which we're talking about today, is the one is the possible return of Asajj Ventress, possible return of whomever. But what's the most interesting about this list is there's some pretty weird names like Extraction, which we thought was going to be the extraction of Crosshair and Omega from Mount Tantus, but it's not, because that happened in the first frickin' premiere. But we don't know what that means anymore. Point of no return, we don't know what that means. All this stuff, we don't know what it means. But the most interesting thing about this list is that there's only 15 episodes. Only 15. And there was 16 in the first season, 16 in the second season, and now only 15 in the... Yeah, I don't buy this for 1 second, because the date here is May 1st. 3 days later is May the 4th. May the 4th, of course, if you guys have been living under a rock for the last 45 years, is Star Wars Day. And, of course, May the 4th be with you. That's why it's Star Wars Day. So 3 days later is May the 4th. And I have no doubt in my mind, I am literally 99.9999999999999% sure that there will be a secret 16th episode, and that'll come out on May the 4th. But with that being said, that 16th episode, like Austin said, could be called Clone Rebellion, for sure. I mean, the 15th episode is called The Cavalry Has Arrived. So, I don't know. Or maybe it's something... Maybe there's a giant cliffhanger ending on that 15th episode, and the 16th episode's title is too revealing that they couldn't even announce it, which would be kind of crazy. But yes, I do think there's a secret... Do you guys think there's a secret 16th episode? I mean, it seems like, why would they do 16 episode first season, 16 episode second season, and then 15 episode third season, when the 16th episode would fall on May the 4th? Kind of seems dumb to me. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm crazy. Wouldn't be the first time. Fearless says, the return is Crosshair, of course, and Echo and Wolf, I could guess. The Bad Batch altogether, again, -1, sadly. Yes, Tech, of course. Tech is still sorely missed. Yeah, and actually seeing how Crosshair is going to react to Tech's death is going to be pretty interesting coming in this 5th episode. For sure. For sure. Actually, let me check something really quickly here. Let me check something really quickly here. Let me check something really quickly here. That's I knew it. I knew it. How did nobody come on, guys. The title of the stream was episode 4 and nobody corrected me on that. Come on, guys. Come on. And smash a freaking like on the stream. I feel like you guys are usually good about that. Now I have to be asking you guys. That's no fun. That's no fun. All right. Now that we fixed that, thanks for telling me, guys. Thanks for telling me, guys and girls. All right, let me keep reading here. Yeah, so Crosshair is probably a part of the return, and you think Echo and Wolf. Wolf is an interesting one. I don't know when we're going to see Wolf, but he is in the trailer, so we're going to see him at some point, for sure. Yeah. Nice Melvin says, Bad Batch is not worthy of being a show for my anti-watch parties. I've seen the first episode of Season 1 and stopped watching ever since. Really didn't like the first episode of Season 1. That first episode's so good. It's like an hour long, and you got Caleb Dune and all that Order 66 happening. You didn't like that, Melvin? And then Melvin follows up and says, of course Ventress is alive. Dave loves to retcon. Well, here's the thing. Dave has retconned a few things in his power at Lucas, with all this new power he has at Lucasfilm. And those things that he's retconned are very, very little things. Very minute, small details. One had to do with the Ahsoka novel, and just a very, again, minor switch. Another one had to do with Kanan and Jarrus in a novel, another minor switch, and that was because of the Bad Batch Season 1, Episode 1. And then it was the Book of Boba Fett, how Luke Skywalker had Yoda's lightsaber when it was destroyed in a canon comic on Coruscant. Now, here's the thing. A canon comic destroys Yoda's lightsaber on Coruscant. Okay, cool. But how much cooler is it that now Luke Skywalker somehow has that lightsaber? And that could be explored in many different ways. But somehow has that lightsaber. Maybe took it off of Dagobah, who knows? And he offers it up to Grogu. The Yoda species that is the future of Star Wars. Like, that's way more cool, I think. So that being a retcon, although it's a very small one, is a cool one. So Ventress living again also makes sense because now, more than ever, the Night Sisters are a very prominent species and a very prominent role in the upcoming Star Wars story. The Mandalorian time period, the Mandoverse, with the Ahsoka show, just introduced an entire army of Night Sisters going back to Dathomir to resurrect themselves. So Asajj Ventress being brought back to Dathomir at the end of the Dark Disciple novel to be resurrected makes sense. It's not really a retcon, it's more of an alteration. It's not even an alteration. The end of that book still remains the same. It's just what happens after that is what differs. Yes, indeed. What if Tech is the return? Oh, Jay, that's a good one. What if Tech is the return? That's a good one. Maybe. And here's the only thing that I could think possible that would be Tech. Okay? Let me pull this up here. Bad Batch. Trailer. Let's see if it comes up here. Let's see if it comes up here. No. No. Oh, here we go. Perfect. So the only person I could think that would be Tech in this entire trailer from what we've seen so far is this character right here. This character right here could be Tech. Now, do I want it to be Tech? Absolutely not. Tech should remain dead and should never be brought back because it would completely take away from the ending of Season 2. But if anybody in any of the trailers, any of the scenes, any of anything would be Tech, it would be this guy right here. Yeah. And first of all, this scene is on Pabu, which is bad. Bad for Pabu at least, because that means Pabu is going to be overrun by the Empire. But this character was focused on for a very brief second. Did any of you catch this? Give me a 1 into the chat if you caught this. In episode 3, I believe, during the premiere, it was either episode 1 or episode 3 because they were on Mount Tantus, when Crosshair is walking through the halls of Mount Tantus, it focuses on this character right here for a very brief second. It's like a one-off kind of scene where it focuses on this guy for just a second too long to make you think, huh, what's going on there? What's going on there? Do you guys remember that? Did anybody else catch that? Yes? Oh, we got a couple ones in the chat. You guys caught that. That's pretty good. So maybe that was kind of Tech looking on at Crosshair and we just didn't know it yet. Or maybe it's just this weird assassin dude looking on at Crosshair. We don't know. We really don't. I hope Tech is dead. I really, really, it sounds awful for me to say, but I really, 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 really hope that Tech is dead and remains dead for that matter. So as much as I love Tech, I mean, his death would be rendered useless in that second season if he was to come back. And I would not like that. Not one bit. No, I would not. So let's keep Tech dead, but maybe this is Tech. That's our two options. That's our two options at this point. So, I don't know. Do you guys think that this guy is Tech? Do you guys think this is Tech? Some fans have really broken this character down from behind. Oh, that sounds... Pause. Rewind. A lot of fans have broken this character down from the back. Pause. Rewind. A lot of fans have broken this character down from the angle of which is behind the character. And the front. Damn it. Pause. Rewind. A lot of fans have broken down this character from the angle of which is behind him during the trailer of The Bad Batch. They've also taken the angle of which that is in front of the character that we're looking at right here. And they've broken it down to make it really look like Tech. The backpack, the armor that he has on is very similar to the ones that Tech wears. And honestly, it kind of makes me a believer, but I still don't want Tech to be alive because his death would be meaningless from last season. And that's the only thing that I hope remains the same. I hope he remains dead, absolutely. But if this is Tech, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what I'll do because then he'll be evil and there's not enough time to bring him back to the light side. So he's going to die again. And then we're going to get 2 Tech death scenes. It's like, what's the point anymore? Yeah. Moving on. Thanks a lot, Jay. What if Tech was the return? Thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate you. Anthony says, Mike, now I have a strong feeling that the extended universe story of the Clone Rebellion will occur officially in canon instead of on Kamino on Wayland with Mount Tantus. That's definitely possible. It's like a canon version of the same story. Yeah, I think the Clone Rebellion will happen on Mount Tantus because there's all those clones there. Omega in episode 4, the last episode we just watched, already said that she wants to go back and save all of them. So that's obviously going to happen at some point in this 3rd season. So yeah, a Clone Rebellion is probably going to happen at the end of this season on Mount Tantus instead of Kamino, like you said, how it happens in the extended universe. Yeah. Friggin says, the return may be them returning to Mount Tantus to save the other clones, as Omega suggested in the last episode. Yes, but no. I don't think this episode being titled The Return is them returning to Mount Tantus just yet. We got a whole nother 11 episodes after this episode to look forward to. So if they go back and save all the clones in this 5th episode, then there's going to be no story left to tell. So I don't think that I think, yes, they will return to Mount Tantus at some point, but no, I don't think the title of this episode being The Return is referring to that specifically here. Now, Catherine, what is up? Anthony says, Mike, I'm talking about the 48 hours prior to Padme leaving Coruscant for Mustafar. Keller and Beck rescued Grogu about an hour before Anakin showed up at his wife's senatorial home. Really? Where are you finding this information, Anthony? 48 hours prior to Padme leaving Coruscant for Mustafar. Keller and Beck rescued Grogu about an hour before Anakin showed up at his wife's house on Coruscant. So Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple after he speaks. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anakin goes to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant to kill all the younglings, kill all the Jedi, after he goes and talks to Padme, correct? And then he goes to Mustafar, and then Obi-Wan comes to Padme, and then Padme goes to Mustafar? That's correct, right? So you're telling me that in the time between Order 66 happening, with Palpatine executing Order 66 from his office with right after he anointed Anakin as Darth Vader, there was 48 hours between that and when Padme leaves for Mustafar? That sounds too long. Sounds too long to me. Sounds too long. But I do agree with you that there is probably some connection to Keller and Beck leaving in a Naboo starfighter and probably Padme Amidala, which would be very cool. Yeah. Or at least Jar Jar Binks, because he is both characters. Yeah. Austin says, because she lost the will to live, or did Palpatine kill her by the Force? Yeah, a lot of fans kind of like that theory that Padme didn't just die of nothingness, so didn't die of sadness, so to speak. Palpatine kind of killed her, but yeah, I don't think so. I think she died of sadness. She lost the will to live. Friggin says, Melvin, my man, Bad Batch is fantastic. Star Wars animation gets it right. That is the truth. Maybe an animated series could be called The Path. I like that, Star Wars politics. I think the next animated series, now more than ever, will take place almost directly after The Bad Batch. It will probably have Omega in it. It will most likely have Asajj Ventress in it, Quinlan Vos in it, and it will probably be about the Jedi who survived Order 66, with this hidden path being introduced or being put into place. And it would explain a lot, because we hear about the hidden path in Star Wars Jedi Survivor and in the Kenobi show. So there's a lot of mystery behind that path, but we know that Quinlan Vos went through it. We know that other Jedi survived through it. So yes, I do agree with you that the next animated show is probably going to be about the creation of the hidden path, or at least the evolution of the hidden path. And that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Anthony says, ooh, oh, damn it, just scroll down to the bottom. Shnikes, hang on. Oh, Anthony says, that would be very interesting, talking about the next show being called The Path. I have a feeling that the next Filoni-made animated series will have a connection to The Bad Batch, or at least the Star Wars underworld. Yeah, here's the thing. The Bad Batch final season, which is this third season, will not be the end of Star Wars animation forever. That's not what's going on here. So it's kind of the question of what's the next animated show. Whether that's a show about the hidden path, or a show about Luke's Jedi Temple, or a show about the High Republic Jedi, that still remains to be seen. But I think because they brought Asajj Ventress back, because the voice actress for Asajj has been teasing out that this is just the appetizer for the return of her character, and that there will be an entree and a dessert, I think that means that this next show will be centered around her and the hidden path and the Jedi themselves. Yeah. I do. Chris says, I just got done rewatching Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. And my honest thoughts on this show so far are pretty interestingly good to my taste, Mike. For Star Wars The Bad Batch. Oh, I get you. Season 3. I'm very glad you liked it, Chris. I think it's off to an incredible start for this third and final season. And I think we are still going to go up from here. There's a reason I gave episode 3 a 9 out of 10 instead of giving it a 10 out of 10, because I still think there's room to improve, and I still think there is a very, very high likelihood that we still keep going up from here, because there's still 11 episodes left. Yeah. Friggin says the next animated show will be called Alpha and Omega, featuring Boba Fett and Omega getting into bounty hunting shenanigans together. That would be awesome. I seriously doubt that, and that title is pretty on the nose for an animated show like Star Wars does. Actually, I guess not, because The Bad Batch is called The Bad Batch, and it's about The Bad Batch, so maybe not. But I don't think so. I think, yes, Omega will come into contact with Boba Fett, but I don't think it'll be a whole premise of a show. It would be cool because you get to explore the bounty hunters and the underworld of Star Wars, but I don't know. I just don't think that they'll go that on the nose, you know? Simon, what's up, Simon, says, Ahsoka versus... Oh, here we go. Perfect. Oh, wait, what? Oh. Ahsoka versus the Inquisitor takes place a few years after... I thought that said Rise of Skywalker. That's why I was like, what are you talking about? Revenge of the Sith. So way after all 3 seasons of The Bad Batch. Okay. But what about the time jump? Because we just took like a 150-day time jump in The Bad Batch. But you said a few years, so I guess, yeah. You're probably right. You are probably right. But isn't there a year or two in between season 1 and season 2? It's getting close. It's getting close. I appreciate it, Simon. Doing my research for me. Maybe a Star Wars What If series could be the next animated show. There was that whole buzz around the What If series. It kind of died down. I still don't see it as something they should do. I think they should continue to tell canon stories and allow the what ifs to be told by Star Wars YouTubers. Not that I do a lot of what ifs, but they are fun to do. They are very fun to do. And I think Disney needs to focus way more on canon stories than even bothering with Legends ones right now. Yeah. Anthony says, Dave Filoni has gone on record saying that Boba and Omega won't meet until the final season, the one we are watching right now. Really? I've not seen that. Anthony, send me that clip if you have that, or whatever it is, the interview, whatever. I've not heard that, but that would be absolutely insane if that is the truth. That'd be crazy. Simon says, Melvin is in here? He's secretly a big fan of The Bad Batch. Oh, yeah, I know. Melvin only sneaks onto my streams when he knows that The Bad Batch is really, really good. Yeah. Austin says, yes, there will be a 16th secret episode. I agree. Knights of Melvin says, Star Wars Day was never on May the 4th. Another misconception from Disney. Well, May the 4th has been celebrated a lot longer than Disney has owned Star Wars. The only reason that May the 4th is Star Wars Day is because it's May the 4th be with you. You know? Yeah, no? What do you think Star Wars Day is, Melvin? Keto says, Battlefront Classic streams incoming? Oh, yeah. 100%, Keto. We are definitely playing the shit out of that game when it comes out. Hopefully, as a community, I want you guys, if you guys are going to get the Classic Edition, to play with me so we can get a full squad going there. That'll be awesome. Austin says, I have a feeling that Crosshair will break down. I think he's definitely going to lose a lot of his sort of stone coldness, for lack of a better word, of himself. And I think, yeah, we will get to see a softer side of Crosshair through this 3rd season. Fearless says, Batcher will protect Crosshair. Will protect Crosshair. Should they all be up their next season? What? Should they all be up on their next season? Fearless, I think you had a stroke or something right in that. Star Wars Politics says, as much as I would love to see Ahsoka in The Bad Batch, it ain't happening. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that 100%. Yeah, Ahsoka has no place in this show, I don't think. I just don't see it. Austin says, maybe the Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi Season 1 was Enoch. Enoch is still a mystery to me. Like, there was a whole lot riding on that character, and there was no explanation to it. Like, even when he turned into smoke and went all over the place, just like the Inquisitor in Ahsoka did, or in Tales of the Jedi did, we thought that was going to explain, like, the whole undead stormtrooper army that the Night Sisters are bringing back to life for Thrawn, and that's just not what was happening. So really, Enoch had no explanation at all. He was just a cool Inquisitor character that was just there. It was strange. Yeah. Keto says, he wouldn't be the tech we once knew. Oh, yeah, no, 100%. 1 billion% he would not be. No, he would not. And he would be an evil version of tech if this is in fact tech. If that's what we're talking about here. If that is in fact tech, it would not be the tech that we know. It would be even more heartbreak for the Bad Batch, for Omega at least, because of what she went through at the end of that season 2. And yeah, Keto says, hopefully he is dead. I agree. Yeah. Fearless says, I hope that ain't tech. And Star Wars Politics says, that's not tech. And Austin says, that's not tech. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not tech, but a lot of fans seem to think it is. Yes. Good to hear, Fearless. Good to hear. Anthony says, yes. My thinking since last season is that perhaps Dr. Hemlock found Tech's body and has used his body to create an early prototype for a Dark Trooper. Again, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. We know that they found his body at least because they gave him the goggles, which we see Hunter still have. And then again, like, you could play devil's advocate and be like, yeah, they found the goggles. That means they found the body. That means they probably brought Tech back to life, or they cloned him, and then we're going to see cloned Tech in this 3rd season. And yes, that kind of makes sense, but I don't want it to happen. I just don't want it to happen. Yeah. Friggin says, we sure it's a him? Could it be Ventress? Could this be Ventress? No, I don't think so. From what we see Ventress in the trailer, she's not wearing any of this armor. She doesn't look anything like this. So, I mean, maybe it's a she under this mask, but it's not Ventress. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Tiffany says, I was taking a closer look at him, and I can see it being a possibility of Tech, but I don't want it to be. Because like you said, it would take away from the significance of his death. Exactly. Yes, that could be Tech. Yes, Tech could be alive. Yes, Hemlock could bring Tech back to life or clone him or whatever. But no, we don't want it to happen because it would take away from the significance of his death and bringing him back even as an evil character. You would have to kill him off again or have a very quick redemption arc and then not kill him off. Like, it would just bring in too many issues with not a lot of time left to explain all of them. Yeah. Fearless says, I think the episode Infiltration, titled Infiltration, could be the return to Tantus. That's actually a good point. So what Fearless is talking about here is episode 6 and episode 7 here. These 2 episodes, episode Infiltration is number 6 and number 7 is Extraction. So Infiltration could be them going back to Mount Tantus, and Extraction could be them extracting the clones that are on Mount Tantus, which could go very well or could end up with Omega being trapped back on Mount Tantus. But that is a good theory, actually. This could be them going back to Mount Tantus to try to save the rest of the clones. Actually, that's very interesting. This week's a one-off episode, or one episoder, and next week's actually a double one. So we only have one more week until we get another 2 episodes of the Bad Batch, which is cool. Every 2 weeks. Oh, never mind. I lied. I was going to say every 2 weeks or every 3rd week is a double up episode, but then we got 4 weeks in a row where they're all single episodes. But that's kind of cool. Yeah. Very cool. But that's a great theory, Fearless. 100%. Mike, what do you think Omega got Nala... Wait. What do you think? Omega got Nala Se's data pad. What if she had all the information about her and the Bad Batch? Could that be a possibility? I mean, on the data pad, because everything could be on there. Did Omega keep the data pad when she left? I don't think she did. Does Omega still have that data pad? There could be some useful information on that data pad if she still has it, but I don't know. Does she keep it? Somebody help me out in the chat. Does she keep that data pad when they leave the planet? I can't remember. Friggin says, yep, good point. The data pad could come into play later, but does she still have it? Does she still have it? I don't know. Anthony says, no. Anakin... here we go. Here's the explanation of what's going on in Revenge of the Sith, okay? Anthony says, no. Anakin goes directly from Palpatine's apartment to the Jedi Temple, and then after the Jedi Temple, he checks on Padme. Look to the Siege of Mandalore. It took 24 hours. Oh, yeah. The Siege of Mandalore took 24 hours because they had the whole stalemate with Darth Maul. Yes. And he says, remember, Yoda and Obi-Wan being rescued by Senator Organa, the trip to Coruscant, the emergency Senate hearing, and then a while after, Padme ventures to see her husband. Wow, you're right. A lot of time passes in that end of Revenge of the Sith area. From Order 66, so you're telling me Palpatine executes Order 66. Anakin goes straight to the Jedi Temple, kills all the Jedi, kills all the younglings. Then he goes and hangs out at home for a while, going, oh no, he goes to the Jedi Temple, going, what have I done? Or he doesn't say that yet, but you know. And then he goes back to his home and hangs out there for a while, thinking about what he's done. And during that time period, Ahsoka is sieging Mandalore, but also Yoda and Obi-Wan are rescued by Senator Organa. They go to Coruscant. There's an emergency Senate hearing where Palpatine says the First Galactic Empire. Then we see Padme go talk to Anakin on Coruscant at their home. And then Anakin goes to Mustafar. And even then there's some time between Anakin going to Mustafar and Padme going to Mustafar. There is a lot of time in there. You are absolutely right. There's a lot of time at the end of that Revenge of the Sith that a lot could happen. A lot could happen. Yeah. Austin says, you completely forgot Asajj Ventress was a Jedi before she became a Sith assassin. Maybe we were getting Tales of the Jedi about her being a Jedi. No, she actually wasn't a Jedi before being a Sith. No, she was not. She actually goes from being a Sith first to a Jedi after. She's one of the weird ones that goes Sith to Jedi. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, why do you think Ventress is a part of the story? That's actually a great question, and I have an answer to that, actually. What's up, Joe? I have an answer to that question. Asajj Ventress is being brought into this show because of Omega. Omega, as we've seen throughout the first 2 seasons, has come into contact with specific people throughout the galaxy to lead us to where she's going to end up after this 3rd season. There's many, many examples of this. Fennec Shand, Cad Bane, Gungi, but even the Bad Batch members themselves. You notice, as you rewatch through the Bad Batch, you notice that Omega is copying everybody. She copies Hunter all the time. She copies Wrecker a lot. She copies Tech a lot. When you watch it on the replay, she copies Tech a lot more than you'd ever think. She doesn't really copy Echo too much, but she's just trying to mimic the things that they do. Maybe because she's a little kid, maybe because she's curious, or maybe it's something else. But we'll continue. When Fennec Shand and Cad Bane come around, she learns a lot about how dangerous the galaxy is. And again, Fennec tries to actually save her in that instance. Then she begins to copy Gungi in the second season. She begins to copy Gungi, who is a Force-sensitive Jedi Wookiee. So I think Asajj Ventress' appearance, going to Asajj, in this 3rd season is to kind of round this whole thing off. Yes, we know that Omega has a high M count, but what does that really mean? Is she going to be a Force-sensitive? Is she going to be a Force user? We heard from the voice actress of Asajj, I believe, yes, the voice actress from Asajj Ventress, that Omega's interactions with Asajj Ventress are very important. And we actually heard from the voice actress of Omega herself, Michelle Ang, that Omega tries to copy a lot of what Asajj does. Because Asajj is a lightsaber, she's a bounty hunter, she's a Jedi, she's all these things that Omega has probably heard very, very legendary things about. So she tries to copy those things. And she's a woman when she's surrounded by men. So Ventress bringing Ventress back, or bringing Ventress in to the Bad Batch story, is almost exclusively for Omega's benefit. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Ventress was hired by the Empire. I don't think so. I don't think Ventress, because Ventress goes to be a Jedi. So I don't think that she would work for the Empire. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm absolutely wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think she's going to work for the Empire. Catherine says, maybe a dark figure. The dark figure is Echo? You mean this guy right here? is Echo. Echo's shouldn't be a bad guy in this season. He's still with the Bad Batch. He's still with Rex. I don't think so. I don't think so, and I certainly hope not, with all that Echo's already been through. It's kind of strange. I think Rex and Echo will be in this 5th episode as well. I mean, I think that's probably a no-brainer. Yeah. Fearless says, I think she still has it. I hope she still has it. Oh, the data pad. Yeah, I think... I'm going to have to go back and check now. I think Omega still does have the data pad, and that would give them a lot of information for sure. Friggin says, Omega is smart. She would have kept that data pad. I can't remember if she had the data pad when they went out to try to fix that ship in the wilderness, like outside of Mount Tantus. Because she like tries to send a message. Is she using the data pad, or is she just trying to tap into the ship itself? It's like I can visualize it, but I can't see it. It's like, is that data pad there? Yes or no? And it's really a multiple choice answer. 50-50 shot. Fearless says, plus, they could use that data pad to open all the cell doors and everything. Actually, that data pad could really come in handy. It would absolutely come in. It would be a huge part of what's going to come when they go to free the other clones. 100%. 1 billion%. Good Cup's Fall Orders. Thanks, Star Wars Politics, but this is not the Good Cup yet. He's still over there. I got to finish this one first, and then we'll bring out the Good Cup. Fearless, that is a great point, actually. Maybe Cody returns. So Cody, Commander Cody, first of all, you guys tell me, do you think that Commander Cody will be in this 3rd season? Cody's a very interesting one. Season 2, he's only in 1 episode. That's it. 1 episode. And in that episode, he helps Crosshair. He's helping the Empire. And then he sort of goes AWOL, as Rampart says. And we never see him again. Ever. Throughout all of Season 2. And actually, we've never seen Cody again through all of Star Wars. So, Commander Cody is an extremely interesting character. Whether or not he'll show up in this 3rd season would tell a lot. A lot about where his character ends up. Because he's a lot like Rex. We don't know when his character's arc ends. We've never seen Rex death. And if you're talking about very significant clones, the list probably goes Rex and then Commander Cody. And then there's a lot of other ones, obviously. You got the Bad Batch now, very significant characters. You got Hauser, you got Jesse, you got Fives, you got all those, you got a ton of all these very important clones. But I'm just more saying that Cody is a very significant clone. And finding out how his story comes to an end better not just be the Empire killed him and then said that he went AWOL. So I do hope we see him in this 3rd season, but tell me if you guys think we'll see him in this 3rd season. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. And if so, when and why would he be in this season? Actually, wouldn't it make sense that Commander Cody is on Mount Tantus? Wouldn't he be one of the clones that's being experimented on? Huh. Interesting. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? Your pal Joe says, how's everybody doing? I'm doing good, Joe. How are you? Star Wars Politics says, what is the speculation surrounding the end of Revenge of the Sith? What is the speculation surrounding the end of Revenge of the Sith? What do you mean? What we were just talking about? Oh, we were just talking about how much time is really in between all those events. From Anakin going to the Jedi Temple after Order 66 and killing all the Jedi and stuff, to all these other things that happen. We really get... Hang on. Oliver, I'll shut you out, but you can't be saying stuff like that. I love you too, Oliver. Don't worry about it. Shout out. There you go. I'm gonna, just for a minute. Just give you just a minute. Just a minute. I appreciate you, Oliver, but yeah, that was a little too strange for me. We're just talking about how much time is really, is really in between all those events, and how much time could really happen, like what Padme could set up with the hidden path and all that stuff before the chill out button. Yeah, we need a chill out button. I just gave him a 1 minute sort of time to breathe, you know? Appreciate you, Oliver. But it got a little bit weird. Yeah, so there's just a lot of time for something to happen in that, you know? Spruce Wood, Steven, what's up? Steven says, I think Commander Cody will return. I think Commander Cody will return. I just don't know when. You know, I don't know if it'll be next episode. I don't know if it will be episode 10, episode 15. I really don't know. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Friggin says, yes, Cody will join Rex's crew. We don't see him later on in Rebels, so him and Echo probably won't live past this season. So you think Cody's going to come back in season 3 and then die by the end of season 3? Here's the only problem with that. He still has the inhibitor chip in his head. So how they're going to go about that? I mean, obviously, Rex gets Gregor's out. He gets Wolf's out. So why wouldn't he get Cody's out too? Maybe Cody is already dead. I don't know. I think Cody's story might end on Mount Tantus. And it might be that he's already there. He's already been having experiments done on him. You're off timeout, Oliver. It was just a 1 minute timeout. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so I think that Cody could be in this 3rd season. I just don't know, you know, where. Yeah. Cat's Paw, what's up? Cat's Paw says, at work and listening right now. But yes, Omega still has the data pad, and Cody will return. And I think Omega will be Force sensitive, and also Omega will become Asajj Ventress's apprentice. I love that theory. I absolutely love the theory of Asajj becoming Omega becoming Asajj Ventress's apprentice, because even if she's not a very powerful Force sensitive, if she becomes a bounty hunter after the events of the Bad Batch, here's the thing. Omega was very, very hurt by Tech's death. But she had her brothers to comfort her. And then she got captured by the Empire. If Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, Echo all die in this 3rd season, imagine the toll that's going to take on this very young Omega. Imagine. Like, that's going to be heartbreaking for her. And that will be literally devastating for her, but it could lead her down a darker path. Now, Asajj Ventress has been down a darker path before, and she would be the perfect mentor / master, whatever you want to call it, for Omega to not only stop her from going down a dark path, but also, Asajj has been a bounty hunter before, she's been a Sith before, she's been a Jedi before, she has all the experience and the perfect, absolute perfect person to mentor Omega. So I really hope Omega becomes Force sensitive, but I don't want her to be like using the Force all over the place, you know? I just like her to kind of be Force sensitive, but not be a Force user, if that makes sense. I want her to be a bounty hunter that can kind of use the Force, you know? I want her to wear the all-white Mando armor. That's what I want. Yeah. You pal Joe, did you change your profile photo? Let me check it. Let me take a gander over there. That's pretty cool. They're very small on my screen, so I can't really tell what's going on. Oliver says, I just subscribed to you. Thank you, Oliver. I really appreciate that. And everybody else who isn't subscribed, please hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. Sprucewood Steven says, something bad had probably happened to Cody, assuming Rex's PTSD in Rebels calling Cody's name. I didn't even think about that. I forgot about that completely, actually. You are absolutely right. Rex's PTSD from Rebels has him screaming Cody's name. Right? It is Cody's name? I think so. But is that from the Clone Wars, or is that from the events of the Bad Batch? That's a very interesting point. Steven, that is something I got to look into for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, that would be crazy if Omega became an apprentice to Asajj. It would. I mean, we've been talking about this for months now. Since Asajj, or a month, I guess. Since Asajj showed up in the trailer, we've been talking about this whole Omega being Force sensitive and Ventress being her possible mentor / master type thing. And that would be really, really cool. But I don't know. I still have my doubts, to say the least. Fearless says, maybe Cody is that trooper. Ooh, that would actually be kind of cool. If this is Cody, I'd be all for that. Because Cody could have gone to Mount Tantus all the way back in season 2, at the beginning of season 2, when he went AWOL. And he could have been having experiments on him and becoming the next Sith assassin. And that would make even more sense as why they focused on him in that crosshair scene. Holy shit. Okay. Everybody remain calm. Everybody calm down. We gotta.
This is where the fun begins.
We might be onto something here. Holy shit. Who said that again? Fearless. Fearless with the poll of the day right there. This could be the theory of the day. This is Commander Cody. Wow. If this is Commander Cody, this would make a lot of sense for 2 reasons. That's 4 reasons. 2 reasons. You guys ever play that game where you start like this and then you're you have a friend, pretend you have a friend, and you go like this and then they go like this and then they go like this and then they go like this and they go like this and you're like, oh no, I lost. You guys play that game? You go like this. 2 reasons. This could be Cody. 1. Cody disappears at the beginning of season 2. He goes AWOL, according to Admiral Rampart. And a lot of clones during season 2 were being brought to Mount Tantus. So if Cody went AWOL, he could have gone to Mount Tantus because he was kind of becoming a good guy, and they're going to do experiments on him to turn him back to bad. The second reason is Cody had that entire episode with Crosshair, and they didn't need to do that. In season 2, they did not need to do that. Cody and Crosshair go on this very cool adventure. One of the best episodes of the entire Bad Batch series is that episode in the Bad Batch season 2. And they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to bring Cody back. They didn't need to explain any of that. And the way they left it was very strange. But I must rewind back to the point I made earlier about this possibly being tech because of the scene where they focused on this character and Crosshair in the same room and this character looking at Crosshair. And maybe it's not because it's tech. No. Maybe it's not because it's tech. No. Maybe because it's Cody and the adventure that they went on in season 2. Mic drop. Wow. 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 This is not tech. No. This is not tech. It's Cody. I love this theory. I am absolutely 100% on this theory. I'm on the Fearless bandwagon. Fearless all the way. This is Commander Cody. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the theory, and I hope it's true. I do hope it's true. It'd be really cool to see Cody be the one who gets turned into a clone assassin that hunts down the Bad Batch, because it would give him a connection. It would give this clone assassin that they focused on in an episode early on in the season, in the trailer itself. He's the guy who's going to go take Pabu back, or take Pabu over by the Empire. Instead of it just being a random clone assassin, it's actually somebody that they know, or at least Crosshair knows, that they'll care about. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. Did I say that would be incredible? Whew. Fearless got me all worked up on this Saturday stream. Whew. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It would give meaning to the clone assassin that's hunting them down now, instead of just being a random person. I like it. I like the theory. Oliver, I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to Oliver. That's literally your full name. You're welcome. I appreciate you hitting the subscribe. All right. Let's see. Where was I? Cat's Paw says, Cody escaped and he's not on Tantus. He will be a part of my Clone Rebellion show. There you go, Cat's Paw. That's having hope. But I like this fearless theory better. Must say. I must say. Martha Jacobo? Jacobo? Martha, what's up? Says, if I recall, Omega put the data pad into a backpack when she exited the crashed shuttle. I think the soldier in question is the clone from the earlier Bad Batch Season 2, or it could be Cody in that suit. Thanks to you. She put it in her backpack. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and check. Yeah. So, because none of you guys can do it for me. Wink, wink. Somebody go find it for me. No, but I appreciate that. I think I remember that too, her putting it in the backpack before they exited the shuttle. It's Me says, do you think that Ben Solo's death will be retconned? I don't think it'll be retconned, but it could be overturned, if that makes sense. He could come back to life, but I hope not. Maybe not I hope not, but I hope... His is a hard death to come back from because his body disappears. We'll put it that way. His body disappeared entirely. Now, maybe the Ahsoka show kind of led up to that, but I don't know. We'll see. Sprucewood Stevens says, maybe Boba Fett. If this is Boba Fett, if that's what you're talking about, that would be a disaster. No. I hope not. Oliver says, I just wanted to know, do you know if Windu survived? Do I know if Windu survived? No. Nobody does, but would I like to see Mace Windu survive? Nah, I don't know. Mace Windu surviving is a very strange thing to me. Obviously, you'd have to explain where he is, because if he survived, his main objective would be to kill the Emperor and Anakin as Vader. So that would be a problem. And I feel like bringing him back would just cause more issues than solutions, you know? Yeah, no? Cat's Paw says, Omega's force sensitivity will be probably just greater than Sabine's. Greater than Sabine's? People are already really upset about Sabine's force sensitivity. Which is ridiculous because she has literally decades of training. But Omega being more powerful than Sabine. Well, here's the thing. Omega has an M count sufficient enough to be able to transfer Palpatine's essence, which must be a very, very high M count. Very high. I'm not talking like Yoda or Anakin high, but I'm talking pretty damn high. Palpatine's a very strong Force user and probably a very high M count. So if Omega has a high enough M count to be able to do that, then she must be pretty raw strength. Powerful for sure. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, I don't think it's Cody, just an assassin. But what if it's Cody as an assassin? Come on. Mike dropped the mic. Yes. Yes, I did. Are you going to make a video about it? I'm thinking about it. I'm really, really thinking about it because I was just working on a video before this stream started. It's a video about, and it'll probably come out tomorrow, but now I kind of want to make this video instead. I might do this video instead. But it's a video about Thrawn and the connections between Thrawn and Mount Tantus and the Bad Batch and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's Star Killer? Oh, yeah. Star Killer. Let's do that. Yeah. This is Star Killer. I'll put that in the video, too. This is Star Killer. 100%. Fearless says, let's hope. But it could be a possibility. He just vanished, and the Empire got his hands on him. With a chip in his head, they could really do anything to him. I agree. I think it could be very similar to what happened to Crosshair in the first season of the show, and that would actually cause for Crosshair to want to try to save Cody as they find out that he is the assassin. That would be really, really cool. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, make both, Mike. Get on that grind. I might actually do that because we got 2 days until the next stream. So, yes, video Sunday, video Monday. I'm down for it. You guys want 2 videos? You want 2 videos? Yeah? Yeah. But where was I? Yes. It's very likely that the Empire just told Crosshair that he went AWOL because they didn't want him to know that he was going on, you know? Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Star Wars Politics says, I was glad I was able to catch this stream, by the way. I'm very glad you're here, too, Politics. It feels like the old days, you know? It feels like Bad Batch Season 2. Yeah. I appreciate it, Politics. I really, really do. I really, really do. Wow, right now this poll actually has 50% of you thinking that Asajj Ventress is the return that this episode is referring to. That's crazy. 50% are saying that. 24% are saying Crosshair. 7% say Cad Bane / Fennec Shand. And 20% say other. What's interesting to me, well, first of all, the others, put what you think the other is in the chat. But what's interesting to me is that only 7% of you think that it's Cad Bane and Fennec Shand. I think Cad Bane and Fennec Shand are almost guaranteed to be in this 5th episode. Because the last episode ended with Dr. Hemlock telling his trooper to inform their operatives about the location because they can track the ship that Omega and Crosshair stole. Because it was a Imperial shuttle. So they can track that ship. So he told them to tell the operatives. And the operatives are most likely the bounty hunters that they have hired to hunt them down. Probably Cad Bane and Fennec Shand. So it's very likely that we'll see the two of them in this 5th episode, don't you think? Like, I feel like that's a no-brainer. And the fact that only 7% of you think that it could be the two of them is actually really surprising to me. Yeah. Tech is the other? Oh, I got you. So you think Tech is the return? I get you. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, where's Honey Badger? Honey Badger is a busy man. He is. He comes in every once in a while. We still talk. He's a great guy. Yeah. Friggin says, smash that like, you nerf herders. Yeah, what the hell? Smash a freaking like on this stream. Just kidding. I'm sure we got a bunch of likes now. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's F-E-F-I. Forgot her name. What? Fee? What? What? Fee? What about her? The pirate girl Fee? I'm confused. Star Wars Politics says, I like the operatives. I think the operatives will be ISB, and we could see Moff Gideon by the end of the show. I think he was part of the ISB. Hemlock will fail experiments by the end of the show, and Gideon will take over. Well, here's the thing. Moff Gideon is an interesting character because he, from what we find out about with the Shadow Council meeting in Season 3 of The Mandalorian, is that he's working sort of by himself with Dr. Pershing because the other leaders of the remnant of the Empire are working on Project Necromancer without Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon's kind of just doing his own thing. So I don't think he'll take over this Project Necromancer because he's not involved with it by the time of The Mandalorian. But I do like where you're at with that because maybe it is just other ISB agents, but I want to bring up a very crazy theory that I'm working on this video that I was just talking about, the connection to Thrawn. Do you guys think we could see Grand Admiral Thrawn in this 3rd season? And before you go, no, Mike, what the hell? Why would we see the big blue meanie in this 3rd season? Hear me out. Just give me a sec. Just give me a second. Okay? Give me a second. Grand Admiral Thrawn, the big blue meanie, if you will, he is very prominent in the Empire. There's a reason he's the heir to the Empire even after he disappears. And I believe because in Legends, in the Heir to the Empire novels, in Legends, he goes to Mount Tantus to create a cloned version of Luke Skywalker named Luke Skywalker. And he finds Joruus C'baoth there as well, a cloned version of Joruus C'baoth, who is a former Jedi turned Sith. So he goes to Mount Tantus in Legends. We have every reason to believe that he's going to go to Mount Tantus again in canon after he gets back from Dathomir, and maybe he's going to be doing some more cloning there as well. Now, we don't know if Mount Tantus is going to be blown up at the end of the season. We don't know if it's going to survive. We don't know any of that. But even if it does get blown up, he could go back to the wreckage to maybe find some stuff, maybe check it out. But the only reason that he would know that Mount Tantus is there is if he's been there before. Because Mount Tantus is a very well-kept secret. Not many people in the Empire know about it, except for the, obviously, personnel that are there. So I think it's very possible that we could see an appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn on Mount Tantus. Not only would it be very cool to see Thrawn in animation again and see him in the Bad Batch, but it would also allow us a connection yet again from the Mandalorian to the Bad Batch that would also give a connection to, or an actual sort of teaser as to what's coming in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie in Ahsoka Season 2, where Thrawn is probably going to Mount Tantus. So now with that being said, do you think Grand Admiral Thrawn could show up in animation in the Bad Batch? And here's the funny thing about this too. If Thrawn does show up, he'll be a completely different animated version of Thrawn. Because Thrawn in Rebels, he is animated, but the animation style in Rebels is completely different than the animation style that's in the Clone Wars and in the Bad Batch. So it'll be almost a completely different look at Grand Admiral Thrawn, the big blue meanie. Yeah. What do we think? What do we think? Friggin says, Wanda Sykes' character. What about her? Oh, Fee? What about her? What about her? Your pal Joe says, that's who the reunion is with. Oh, the return is with Fee, you're saying? I'm confused. Still. Friggin says, Thrawn is connected to Tantus. Great point. He is in Legends, though. It would only connect him to Tantus in canon if we see him in the Bad Batch. Because I do think the reason that the Bad Batch is so important, this third season so important, is because Mount Tantus is coming in live action, and it's coming in the Mandoverse. It's coming in Ahsoka Season 2, in the Mandalorian, Mando and Grogu movie. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, a lot of people think Tantus gets blown up by the end of the season. Yeah, and I'm kind of one of those people, but even a wreckage of Tantus is probably pretty useful to Thrawn. Yeah. It's likely that it gets blown up, and I think probably Hemlock's going to die in the explosion the same way that Tarkin dies in the destruction of the first Death Star. Yeah. Friggin says, my prediction is Thrawn will go to Tantus, but not until the Ahsoka show timeline. He will create a Jedi clone, but it won't be Jorah Sabaoth, but rather Kanan Jarrus. Imagine Ezra having to deal with that. That would be pretty cool because, first of all, a lot of fans really love the character of Kanan. He did die in Rebels, so it's impossible for him to show back up again in live action. But I mean, that would be honestly, that would be really, really cool. That's a great theory. Instead of Jorah Sabaoth, they clone Kanan because the Rebels crew is going to have to deal with him. That would be really cool. But I would way rather see a clone of Luke Skywalker. It would mean more towards the sequel trilogy and explaining how that sort of thing works. But I love the prediction. Absolutely love the prediction. Fearless says, I don't think we'll see Thrawn in the Bad Batch season. Really? Interesting. Anthony says, oh, that would be a nightmare of on a Shakespearean level, akin to Luke and Leia dealing with a Lord Vader. Very scary. I kind of like it. I kind of like it too. If we're really going to focus on the Rebels crew in the Mandoverse and not really the main trio of Luke, Leia, and Han, then I think Kanan is a good add. But if it's going to be Luke, Leia, and Han and centered around those main characters, then I would rather see a clone version of Luke. Yeah. Yeah. Jay says, what if Sid is the return? Oh, no. 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 I really hope Sid is not the return. That would be a disaster. No. Jay says, are we doing Collins? And Star Wars Politics says, Collins? We can do Collins if you guys want. For sure. We'll do him in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Jay says, they should raise Malicos from Dothmere. Yeah, I think Malicos is also more likely to be the Jorah Sabaoth of the canon world. Yeah. Malicos is the guy from Jedi Fallen Order who gets buried alive on Dathomir, and of course Thrawn and the Night Sisters are on Dathomir. So it would make more sense that it would be Malicos than really Kanan even. Yeah. Fearless says, well, we still don't know what happened to Luke's chopped off hand. We do. In a canon comic, not novel. In a canon comic, we see Luke's hand in a back-to-tank looking thing on Exegol. When Vader goes to Exegol, we see Luke's chopped off hand there. So we do know that Palpatine has access to Luke's hand, meaning it's very possible that a clone version of Luke Skywalker could exist. Yeah. Now, can I get some good cups, follow orders in the chat? Bum, bum. Yeah. I could definitely see Luke's chopped off hand coming into play at some point, because it is in that comic, and they definitely put it in there for a reason. I'll actually pull up that thing right now. Luke's hand comic. Luke's hand comic. Let's see if it comes up just from that. Okay, we'll have to put Star Wars. Star Wars. Luke's hand comic Star Wars. And it still doesn't come up. Luke's hand Star Wars comic Exegol. I'm just making Google work today. Oh, here we go. This is the exact frame I was looking for. So this is the comic. It's a Vader comic, and this is what you see. So it's Luke's hand, obviously, in some sort of back-to-tank. Yeah. It says I can use it to make anything, is literally what it says there. So that is problematic. Luke's probably going to have some clone variations of him. That is for sure. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Fearless says, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, so in that comic, Vader goes to Exegol, I believe with Ochi of Bastoon from Rise of Skywalker, and that's where Luke's hand is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah. Ew, that's gross. It is his hand. True. Friggin says, well, we've already seen Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan in live action. Of course, it was just a photo on the Ghost's dashboard. Yeah, I mean, it was just that photo, and it wasn't really, that crazy, but yes, we did see him. Yes, we did. Anthony says, if Sid returns, she's got seriously work some things out and make some amends. Yes, Malicos being released from Dathomir or being resurrected via clone tech would be insane. I agree with that. But going back to your first part, I don't want Sid to get amends or sort of get back to the good side of the Bad Batch. I would rather see Omega take her out or have some sort of big kind of ending for her character than have her redeem herself. Yeah. Screw that lady. Kill her. Chop her head off. Decapitate her. Cat's Paw says, Bad Batch is years before the original trilogy. Yes, it is. What do you mean? It is 18 years before, I believe. Yeah. Sid can be redeemed. She's basically pulled a Lando. She had no choice. She had a choice. She did not have to turn them in. She 1000% did not have to turn them in. After all the things that the Bad Batch did for her, saving her life multiple times, saving her business multiple times, and she does that, no, she cannot be redeemed. We hate Sid. We hate Sid. We hate Sid. I just imagine somebody watching in the chat named Sid who's like, what the hell? Or just clicked on the stream. It's like, who? Why? Why do we hate? What? Why? What? Why? Yeah. Maybe Sid, having all that money, can hire Asajj to protect Omega and the boys. Why do you guys want to redeem Sid? Yes, we hate Sid. Exactly, Jay. Why do we want to redeem Sid? She's the worst. She's the worst. Star Wars Politics says, anyone find Omega's character way more compelling this season? Honestly, Omega's had quite the arc. It's very akin to Ahsoka Tano's arc. Ahsoka Tano starts off as the bratty, annoying little character in the Clone Wars and becomes literally one of the greatest characters in all of Star Wars. She's number 2 on my list, and she's just absolutely incredible. Omega's on a very similar trajectory. She starts off as a very annoying little kid, and she's, over the last 2 seasons, especially in season 2 and now to start season 3, has been very, very more adult, but like she's just learned from her experiences. She's been through a lot. So she starts off as a very innocent kid. She's watched Tech die. She's watched all these countless people die. And now she's probably going to watch a lot more of her brothers die. But she's seen what happened on Mount Tantus. She's gone through almost an imprisonment for 150 days. So yeah, she's been through quite a bit and has learned a lot from it. So she's really become a very mature character. And I think this is really just the beginning of seeing Omega's journey, because I still think that the next show is going to be about her and how she kind of keeps going. She has become a very, very interesting character. She's very, very similar to Ahsoka Tano's arc. Yeah. Wait, I gotta scroll back up. Tiffany says, we hate Sid. Nice. Cat's Paw says, everyone talking about Luke's hand in the Bad Batch is way too soon, is what I was talking about. Oh, no, we're just talking about Luke's hand kind of being relevant later on, like in the Mandoverse. But I agree with you. Obviously, Bad Batch is way before Luke's hand gets chopped off. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Friggin says, Sid's the GOAT. No. Fearless says, maybe it's now Hemlock's hand. And that's why he has the glove on. Well, no, it happens way after that. The whole thing with Hemlock's glove, I think, will be very interesting. I don't know why he has a black glove on his left hand and he's always looking at it. He's just like this all the time. He's got this black glove on his hand. And I might start wearing a black glove on my hand. Just kind of freak you guys out. Hemlock is Snoke theory. I've seen those theories going around lately. I absolutely hate it. Snoke is a 10-foot tall, or probably more than 10 feet tall, giant, and he looks nothing like Hemlock, and I just don't like it at all. And the whole hand thing really has nothing to do with Snoke at all, so I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the theory. But there is something to his whole fascination with his left hand and the fact that he has a glove on it. It's weird. It's definitely been focused on a whole lot to make it something special. Yeah. Tiffany says, off with her head. Yes. Off with Sid's head. That's horrible. Star Wars Politics says, yeah, that's what Journeyman said. Just like Ahsoka with Omega's arc. Yeah, I completely agree. Where is Journeyman anyway? We're talking about old people from the channel. Where is Journeyman, huh? Friggin says, she looks and sounds a bit more mature, and yes, her story is great so far. Love the character. And here's the thing. Ahsoka went from a little teenager to the character we see in the Ahsoka show, and that's like 30 years later. Omega, if she gets 30 years of storytelling, like obviously Ahsoka has a ton of storytelling from 7 seasons of the Clone Wars to she's in 3 of the seasons of Rebels, like to her own show, to the Mandalorian. Like there's so much Ahsoka's story being told. Omega only has 3 seasons so far, so unless she gets a lot more, she's not going to be on the level of Ahsoka, but she is a very similar character. Jay says, but Mike, I like Ahsoka, but I absolutely hate Omega. Well, Jay, that's you. That's a you thing, I guess, because I like Omega, and a lot of fans seem to like Omega a lot. Yeah. Tiffany says he's rubbing it in too. Yeah, he is. He's like, look at this black glove I got on, and let me stare at it all the time. Really pissing me off. Hemlock plays with his hand, and now Crosshair plays with his hands. I wonder what that's about. Well, Crosshair's got shaky hands. He's not playing with his hands. He's just got the shaky hands from all the stuff he's been through. There might be a connection. There might be. There might be. All right, let me pull this up really quickly. We're going to do call-ins. I promise we'll do call-ins in just a little bit here. So this is what Jennifer Corbett, the writer and director and producer of The Bad Batch Season 3, Jennifer the executive producer and head writer of The Bad Batch. That is who she is. She's the executive producer and head writer of this third season. This is what she said. So on Twitter, she said this. Don't put the tissues away yet. We are just getting started. Hashtag The Bad Batch. So this is obviously in reply to the galaxy can't separate them. This is the end of end of episode 4, where they have the reunion between Omega, Wrecker, and Hunter. It is obviously a very emotional one. A lot of people had to get the tissues out, but Jennifer is saying, don't put the tissues away just yet, because we are just getting started. This is bad news. As great as this sounds, because it means that this season's going to be really, really good, this is bad news for anybody who likes the character Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, probably Echo, probably Commander Cody, probably any of those clones that you like, probably Nala Se. If you're a fan of Hemlock, if you're a fan of Emery, if you're a fan of any of them, this is bad news. This means they are all going to die. All of them.
I got a bad feeling about this.
This is it. She's saying, don't put the tissues away. Don't put the tissues away. We are just getting started. This means a lot of death is coming our way in this Bad Batch Season 3. Now, with that being said, who do you guys think, yes, we think a lot of the Bad Batch members are going to die. And because they're not in anything else past this, it would mean more to the story. But who is the most unlikely person that you suspect is going to die in this third season? What do we think? What do we think? And actually, let me give Jennifer a follow here. I didn't even know I wasn't following her. How rude of me. Who do we think is going to die in this third season? Not obviously a person that we easily suspect, like Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair. Those three are off the books. What about somebody we just wouldn't expect to die at all? Who do you think? Fearless, of course, says Crosshair lives. Crosshair is probably going to die. Star Wars Politics says everybody dies. Everybody except for Omega. It's definitely possible. I say this again. There's millions of clones in the galaxy right now. As the time of the Bad Batch Season 3, there are millions of clones. By the time of the original trilogy, there's not millions of clones. As far as we know, there's not. So, do they all die? Do all the clones die? Star Wars Politics, I think, is the one who came up with this a long time ago during Season 2. What if the inhibitor chip has a failsafe, has just a blow up their heads safe? Very similar to Kingsman. Anybody seen the movie Kingsman? You know what I'm talking about? The movie Kingsman with the church scene? Does anybody give me a 1 into the chat if you know what I'm talking about? The Kingsman movie with the church, where all their heads blow up. That could be what this season ending could be. That'll be wild. But Jennifer says, don't put the tissues away. We're just getting started, which is sad, but expected. Friggin says, I cried when they reunited. Damn that music. Yeah, the music of this show is so good. It's so good. Tiffany, you watched Kingsman? Yeah. Tiffany's the only one who watched that scene. Knows what I'm talking about? Yeah. But yeah, that scene, the reunion definitely got a lot of people, for sure. And the music is the biggest thing. Kiner, he did the Clone Wars, he did Rebels, he's doing Bad Batch now, he did Ahsoka. He is quite the talent, I must say. Yeah. Fearless says Crosshair survives, as always. I doubt it, Fearless, but I appreciate you still thinking that. Friggin says Batcher better not die. I think Batcher's definitely going to be one that goes probably earlier on in the season. We have grown attached to this creature, and so is Omega. And I think Omega's going to witness a lot of loss in this third season, and Batcher's probably going to be one of the first. Yeah. Catspaw says, we are all going to have Rogue One endings except for Omega, I think. Yeah. So Rogue One ending, for those of you who don't know what she means, is how Rogue One ended was the Death Star blows up Scarif, or blows up at least part of Scarif, and Cassian Andor, Jyn Erso, and all the rebels of Rogue One die. And you grew attached to all these characters throughout the movie, and then they all just died. So that could be very similar to what's going on in the Bad Batch. You grew attached to all these characters throughout 3 seasons of this show. From Hunter all the way down the line, you've grown an attachment to these characters. People have fallen in love with these characters in just a few short years. And we might see all of them die. All of them. Which is crazy. That's absolutely insane. Like, people don't really understand how crazy that is until we see it, I guess. But yeah, that's wild. Ventress dies. That would be a bummer because I want to see her in the next animated show. Friggin says, everyone except Rex, Wolf, Gregor, Omega, and Batcher. So you think Batcher's going to survive? It'd be kind of cool to see Batcher survive, because then, like, if all of Omega's brothers died, then her and Batcher would be like a duo. She could become a bounty hunter with a animal that would just help hunt people down. That'd be kind of cool. But yes, of course, Rex, Wolf, and Gregor have to survive because they're in Rebels. Almost everybody else doesn't make any other appearances in anything else. Hemlock, all the Bad Batch members, all the clones. Like, there's almost, other than Rex, Gregor, and Wolf, nobody else makes an appearance in anything else. So everybody is up in the air. Everybody could die, which is kind of cool. It's a cool place to be at. Sad, but cool. Anthony says, and remember, Hemlock stated that he has plans for Crosshair. So maybe he's already had some experiments done with him over the last 6+ months that he's been a prisoner on Mount Tantus. Yeah, because season 2 ends and he says, I got plans with you, or whatever he says. And we didn't really get to see any of that, you know? So maybe there was plans that we haven't seen yet. Rose, what is up? Rose in the house. Yeah. Fearless says, no, not all the clones die. Remember on one in the Kenobi show was asking Kenobi for some credits. There are still clones around. Yeah, I know there's still some clones around, like a handful of them, as we see Rex, Wolf, and Gregor. But yeah, even in the Kenobi show, you see that one guy begging on the street as a clone. But there was millions of clones created. So a lot of them have to die. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see how they do that. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, can you believe we've had the Bad Batch for 4 years? Time flies. Yeah, the Bad Batch, it's crazy because we've become so attached to these characters, and they're such brand new characters to Star Wars. Like, only 4 years. In the 45 years of history of Star Wars, or 47 now years of history of Star Wars, we've only been with these characters for 4 years. And they're all about to die. And we're all about to cry because they die. And I really don't know why. But I can't stop rhyming. See what I did there? But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how quickly we fell in love with these characters and how quickly they die in 4 short years. Yeah. Rose.
Hello there.
What's up, Rose? Tiffany says, oh, the tears I will shed. There you go. Yeah. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, should we talk about the Andor news first? Yeah, let's talk about the Andor news first and the Mando news first, and then we will do the call-ins. Is that okay with you guys? Is that okay with you? Good, because I don't care. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's go to, what do you guys want first? Andor news or Mando and Grogu news? Mando or Andor. Whatever you guys say will be what we go to first, but we'll, of course, be taking it to a vote. And while you guys put that in, by the way, this poll is at 52% of you say Asajj Ventress is the return. So we might be seeing, according to all of you guys, or 52% of you guys, we'll be seeing Asajj Ventress this Wednesday. That's crazy. We haven't seen Asajj Ventress since season 5 of the Clone Wars. Wow. Asajj Ventress' return. And season 5 came out when? 2010? 2010? So it's been almost 14 years since we've seen Asajj Ventress, and she makes her return this week. That's crazy. All right, I see Andor's in there. We're going to Andor news first. Okay. Andor news first. This is talking about a release date, okay? We've been talking about how Andor is going to come out in 2025, early 2025, for months now. Because it got postponed or got whatever, moved back. We've been talking about Andor coming out in 2025 for months. But Stellan Skarsgård, who plays Luthen in the show, has said differently. Let's read this. This is coming from Galactic Transmission on Instagrams. It says Andor Season 2 is expected late 2024/early 2025. So this is what Stellan Skarsgård had to say. Stellan Skarsgård. I like saying his name. Stellan Skarsgård. It sounds like a Star Wars character's name, honestly. This is his real-life name. Stellan Skarsgård. Jedi Master Skarsgård. Try saying that 10 times fast. Stellan Skarsgård. 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 Stellan Star. Stellan Skarsgård. Stellan Skarsgård. Why? What is that symbol above the A? Sorry. Actor who portrays Luthen in the Star Wars Andor claims that season 2 will end on a high, and the release is late 2024/early 2025. So this is what he had to say. It's the last season of it. Andor season 2 is the last season. It's going to lead right into, he says that. It ends where Rogue One starts. So it's up to that point. So it ends exactly going into Rogue One, the movie. I think it will be very good, as already the first one was satisfying for me, because it was sort of Star Wars for grown-ups. A lot of people say this, Andor has a more mature feeling to it, and a lot of people actually don't like when people say that, so whatever. It's more realistic and complicated society that we are living in, and the claustrophobia of the fascist regime is palpable. I think we have a good season ahead of us. Skarsgård, according to Skarsgård, there is still a chance that we get our Andor fix this year, just much later than we initially anticipated. He told us it will probably be out towards the end of this year or early next year. So here's why he's saying this. Originally, the release date for Andor Season 2 was August of this year. It's supposed to come out the same, because Andor Season 1 came out August of 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So it was supposed to be 2 years in between 2 years in between the seasons, and they would release at the same time in August. This is way different now. It's being postponed to either late this year or early next year. Now, I think we could see something either along the lines of Book of Boba Fett, where Book of Boba Fett was released like December 29th. So it was literally 2 days before the end of the year, and then it rolled into the next year. That could be what we're seeing here with Andor. Or it might just come out in early 2025. He really doesn't know as an actor. He's just sort of guesstimating here, just based off of how they've already finished filming and all that stuff. But I still probably would say early 2025 is the best bet for Andor Season 2. We already have 4 major Star Wars projects coming out this year, from Bad Batch, which is coming out now, Acolyte, which is supposed to come out June 5th, Tales of the Jedi, which still doesn't have a release date, and Skeleton Crew, which is still later on in the year. In 4 projects, adding that 5th one in before the end of the year would kind of be, would it be too much, or I don't really know. Would it be pushing it? I don't know. So it kind of depends on that. It depends on how quickly they can go through post-production because they just finished filming just a few weeks ago. So it's all dependent on that stuff. I would way rather them take their time, make it right, finish it up nice, and actually give us the best production that they can give us for this second season, because I do think season 2 will be really, really good. But actually what he says here is very interesting, because he talks a little bit of this second season. He says, it is more realistic in a complicated society that we are living in, and the claustrophobia of the fascist regime is palpable. So he's talking about that in the second season as well, meaning we're going to get a lot more Coruscant and the fascist regime of the Empire in this second season. Luthen was my favorite character from the first season. Who was your favorite character from the first season? But he was my favorite character from the first season, and I do expect him to have a very good second season. The only problem is I actually think that his character is going to die as well as a lot of the Bad Batch are in this Bad Batch season, because he's not in anything else. And he's setting up the rebellion, but I think that is going to cause for him to die as a rebel. But that is the news for Andor. It's just Stellan Skarsgård, an actor from the show who plays Luthen, giving us a kind of runaround as to when we will see this second season and giving us a little brief look into what this season's going to look like. Yeah. So that's the Andor news. Let's shift our gears to the Mando news. Let's shift our gears to the Mandalorian news here. This is coming from Bespin. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, its working title. So we talked about this a little bit last stream, but this is pretty cool. Let me move over a little bit, because it might be referring to something from Legends. All right, whatever, stay there. As we've known for a number of weeks, the next Star Wars theatrical release, The Mandalorian and Grogu, is looking to begin filming on June 17th of 2024. So June is going to be a big month. June is going to be a big month for Star Wars. You get the release of The Acolyte on June 5th, and The Mandalorian and Grogu movies going into production. And when a movie goes into production, we get set leaks, set images leaks. We get casting leaked or actually announced. We get all this stuff from behind the scenes leaked and all that stuff. So June is going to be a big, big time for a lot of Star Wars news. So with this in mind, more news on the production will likely arise. Just last week, I reported that the film will shoot until October, and it will just... and it was just earlier this week that it was revealed that the production would receive $21.7 million in California tax credit. And you can read about that here. We talked about that last stream, so yeah. Now a new report has possibly revealed the working title / code name for the upcoming movie. Readers of mine would know that Lucasfilm using working titles / code names for their Star Wars projects is common practice. Some past examples include The Mandalorian Season 1 having the code name / working title of Huckleberry. That's funny, I did not know that. Huckleberry. Ahsoka was Stormcrow. Obi-Wan Kenobi was Joshua Tree. What? The Acolyte was Paradox, to name a small handful. I wonder how they come up with those. Because Huckleberry doesn't really have much to do with Mando. Stormcrow doesn't really have much to do with Ahsoka. Joshua Tree doesn't really have much to do with... Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Today, Cosmic Circus are reporting that the working title for The Mandalorian and Grogu is Thunder Alley. Now, like I just said, those working titles from before don't really have much meaning. This one might. I've followed Cosmic Circus for a few years. The two of their writers, Lizzie Hill and Alex Perez, are fantastic when it comes to releasing Marvel Studios reports. The Cosmic Circus report doesn't have either of those writers attached to it. Instead, it's labeled as written by the site's entertainment team. I'll try to get confirmation from on this myself, and will share with readers if I hear the same or different. Update. So this was updated. I can now collaborate that the working title is Thunder Alley. Okay, so they've updated this, and they confirm that this is the working title. So here's where this is interesting. As mentioned in the Cosmic Circus's report, Thunder Alley has been mentioned in the Star Wars universe before, specifically in a Legends novel, Before the Storm. Thunder Alley was a region of space along New Republic borders that several fleets rotated up to patrol. In 16 ABY, just before the Black Fleet crisis, the Second Fleet had been patrolling Thunder Alley, the longest of the fleet, without home service and shipyard service. Admiral Gale Akbar convinced Chief of State Leia Organa to pull a second fleet out and replace it with the First Fleet, which had been served as Coruscant's defense force during the same time. So this is coming from a Legends novel titled Before the Storm. And it's about this Black Fleet crisis. That's what the book is about in 16 ABY. But Thunder Alley is a location. It's a region of space along the New Republic border. And that might be telling for what's going on here. There's no indication that the working title has been inspired by the Star Wars Legends material, although it'll be the more common assumption among fans. Elsewhere, Thunder Alley is often discussed regarding stock car racing. The stock car would run on oval tracks, the road course measuring approximately 0.25 to 2.66 miles. It originally used production model cars, hence the name stock car, but it is now running using cars specifically built for racing. As we know, George Lucas has an affinity for cars and racing, hello American Graffiti, but also a film titled Thunder Alley from 1967, directed by Richard Rush, which centers around two stock car racers. There's also a film from 1985 that supports the name Thunder Alley, but the plot of this movie revolves around a rock band that is rising in the music industry and their mix-up with drugs, and that seems a little too dark to be inspired for the Disney-produced film. So this is very interesting here. Yes, a lot of fans are going to say that this title of Thunder Alley is based off of this Legends novel, and it is definitely a reason. There is a reason to suggest that, because why would you title a working title of a canon movie the title of a place that was actually existent in Legends? Now again, it could be coincidental, as it could be more connected to racing and cars, because we know that George Lucas was, of course, obsessed with cars. The reason that he created the Millennium Falcon and the reason he focuses more on speed and X-Wings and TIE fighters and all that stuff is because he loved cars. He wanted to make cool spaceships like he loved cars. So that could be another reason as to why that this is the case, because there was a movie in 1967 that was about cars titled Thunder Alley. Now, how does that connect to the Mandalorian? Well, he's got the N1 Starfighter. It's a very pimped out race car kind of thing in the Star Wars galaxy. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't really know. But again, I take you back to the previous titles. The Kenobi show, Joshua Tree. Does that really have much to do with Kenobi? Ahsoka, Stormcrow. Does that have anything to do with that? The Mandalorian Season 1, Huckleberry. What? So this could be either a coincidence. It could just be a funny name that they wanted to come up with. It could be that it has to do with that Legends thing. It could be that it has something to do with racing. But what do you guys think? Does this have anything to do with anything? And then it goes into the Rey news. So let's talk about this as well. We'll talk about this in a second. But before I get into this, tell me what you think in the chat. Is this Thunder Alley referring to that Legends book? Is it referring to race cars because of George Lucas and the M1 Starfighter and Mando? Or is it something else? Or does it have nothing to do with anything? Ian, what's up? What's up, Ian? Ooh, interesting. Ian says Stormcrow comes from Gandalf. Stormcrow. And Gandalf is Gandalf the Grey, and then he's Gandalf the White, which would immediately connect Ahsoka the White. That is very telling, because that is a very strong connection from the plot of Ahsoka, where she dies and becomes Ahsoka the White, to the working title, which was Stormcrow. which has a connection to Gandalf. Interesting, Ian. That's a great point. So this could have some significance. Yeah. Now this next one is pretty on the nose. Let's read this. Cosmic Circus is also reporting that the title of the untitled Rey movie film, to be directed by Sharmina Bed-Chinoy, is Star Wars: A New Beginning. This title has been rumored for many, many months and hasn't come from any reliable sources. My sources say that this is not the case, and I've never seen other outlets on social media share that Lucasfilm themselves have denied this title. So, Bespin's sources are saying that they have heard that this is not the title. I've heard from actually many different sources that this is not the title, A New Beginning. And Lucasfilm themselves haven't said one way or another if it is the title or not. So that could be, we don't really know. But we talked about this in the Discord a little bit. What would you guys want the title of the Rey movie to be? Star Wars: A New Beginning seems a little too bland to me. From what I'm hearing, it's not going to be episode 10, so it's going to be the start of a new sort of saga or a new era in Star Wars. A new Jedi Order, but that's kind of the time period. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should be the title of the Rey movie. What do we think? Ian says, sorry, I'm a bit unwell and just lurking and listening. Don't worry about it, Ian. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better. All right, let's finish off this article, and then I'll check out the chat. So put in your title for the Rey movie. The Mandalorian and Grogu is set to be directed by the Mandalorian series creator Jon Favreau, who is also writing the effort along the Mandalorian executive producer Dave Filoni. Currently, the film has not received an official release date from Lucasfilm/Disney, though both have touted that the Mandalorian and Grogu will be leading the Star Wars theatrical release slate. And there is an untitled Star Wars film slated for May 22nd of 2026. So that's probably when the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will be released. Indeed. Yeah. So, Thunder Alley. Could it mean something else? I definitely think it could have either something to do with that Legends book in that sort of area in the galaxy from Legends. The fact that it has something to do with Akbar and Leia Organa is very interesting. It has to do with, obviously, the New Republic, and so does Din Djarin now because he's working with the New Republic. That could be a part of it, too. Or it could be completely different, and it could be completely connected to racing and cars and the M1 Starfighter and how it goes really fast and all that stuff. But as of right now, we have no idea. Ian makes a great point about it being connected to Gandalf, that Ahsoka title, because Ahsoka the White and Gandalf the White, that is very similar as well. So that could be a connection for sure. But tell me what you guys think. All right, let me catch up on some chats here. Rose says, I don't think we'll see Ventress until later on in the season. I don't know. I think it's going to be earlier in the season because the critics got to watch the first 8 episodes. And I know we're only on episode 5, but episode 8 is coming right around the corner. And those critics were talking about Asajj Ventress because they've already seen her in those first 8 episodes. So she will be later on in the season, but I think she will be in these first 8 episodes as well. Yeah. Fearless says he's Swedish. Who? Oh, Stellan Skarsgård? Yeah, I think he is. Friggin says Luthen and Kino Loy were standouts, but my favorite was Dedra. Dedra was the Imperial girl. She was good. Honestly, not the biggest fan. I liked Luthen a lot more. And Kino Loy was cool too, but again, he was only in a few episodes. And yes, obviously, Andy Serkis is incredible, and his character was incredible, but Luthen just stole the whole show for me. One of my favorite Imperial characters overall. Speaking of which, will we see director Krennic? Oh, Krennic, yes. Will we see Krennic in season 2 of Andor? That's a great question. I hope so. Just because Krennic is such a cool character and his screen time is very limited. He was in season 2 of Bad Batch, which was cool. obviously he's in Rogue One and he dies in Rogue One, very similar to Tarkin. So yeah, I absolutely hope that we see more Krennic. 100% I hope we see more Krennic, but I just don't know if we will. Yeah. Don't know if we will. Fearless says, in Andor, that would be very cool. The actress who plays Jedra is killing this role. I like her a lot. I like her a lot too, but again, her role just seems rather insignificant. And I don't like her tie to cereal, because cereal just eats cereal all the time, and it really pisses me off. Andor would be such a better show if we didn't spend so much time with cereal, eating cereal with his mom. I'm still not over it. It's been a year and a half, and I'm still not over it. The guy just ate cereal with his mom for episodes on episodes. And it was so unnecessary. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah. Star Wars Politics says, Shattered Light. Posted it in the Discord earlier. Shattered Light? Oh, that's the title for the Rey movie. Completely lost me for a second there. Shattered Light. I absolutely love that. Star Wars Shattered Light. That would be incredible. It would really draw the intrigue and draw people to come watch the movie for sure. Yeah, I like that. Friggin says, Star Wars Episode 10. Let me stop you right there. I don't think it's going to be Episode 10. I don't think so. I just don't think they're going to continue it that way. Because they marketed Rise of Skywalker as the end of the saga. It's going to be the end of the saga. And whatever we're going to get with the Rey movie is going to be the future. It's going to be pushing us into the future. Yeah. But let's see what you say. The Rise of Sheev's granddaughter. I'd watch that. Star Wars Politics says, it could be multiple Jedi fractions warring with each other. Rey has to unite them. Villain is the charismatic Jedi who's straying towards the dark side and brings some Jedi with him. I definitely think there'll be. I don't like that. As much as I like the different factions of Jedi fighting, I don't think that just a rogue Jedi being the villain is good enough. I think we need a pretty big villain. I like Abeloth. I like maybe even Darth Krayt or something like that. We need a good villain for this movie, like a really solid villain that fans can get excited for, like really, really excited for. So, I don't know. We'll see. Here's the thing. If Abeloth is the villain, then we know that Dave Filoni has something to do with this, because he set up Abeloth perfectly in Ahsoka, and he's got this new chief creative officer role, and he should have some say of what goes down in the Rey movie. And that will be very telling if we get to see Abeloth in that movie. Yeah. Yeah. Fearless says, Light Beyond Darkness, a Star Wars story. I don't think it'll be called a Star Wars story, but I kind of like the Light Beyond Darkness. Rose Tico still studying. That's a great one. Anthony says, Mike, all I know is this Rey movie better not be titled Episode 10 or A New Beginning. I've had enough problems with the title A New Jedi Order since it's bringing Luke to mind. Yeah, New Jedi Order does bring Luke to mind for sure, because he was supposed to get the New Jedi Order, but yeah, I don't like New Beginning either. Fearless says, yeah, I hope we find out more about Luthen. Me too, but I think he's going to die. Star Wars Politics says, a movie like Captain America Civil War, but with Jedi would be amazing. Yes, but the problem with that is Captain America Civil War, you were absolutely in love with these characters from a decade of storytelling before that. You had Captain America, you had Iron Man, you had all these characters that you absolutely loved, and you don't have that with this. Friggin says, Star Wars Episode 10, Revenge of Khajiit Club? What? Khajiit Club? I don't know. Star Wars Democracy says, Abeloth won't be villain for the Rey movie, for the standalone Rey movie. I think she will. I think she will, because I don't think it's a standalone Rey movie. I think it's the beginning of a new trilogy. I just don't think it's a continuation of the Skywalker saga. I think it's a new trilogy. Yeah. Anthony says, I'm still irked about the eating cereal thing too, Mike. Yeah, me too. Star Wars for Life, what is up? Don't worry about being late. I appreciate you being here. Fearless says, yeah, but before Luthen dies, I want to find out more about him. Oh, me too. 100%. Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, let me open up the the call-ins thing. We'll do some quick call-ins because I do have to get on out of here. I gotta go get something to eat. I'm hungry. Call-ins. Whoops. Damn it. Call-ins. I'm opening up the stage on the Discord right now. So you just got to go in there and raise your hand, and then I can bring you on in there. Star Wars for Life got his bird. Nice. What'd you name it? What'd you end up naming it? That's pretty cool. All right. Do we have any other news to get to, by the way, here? I think we got to all that I wanted to. The Mando stuff, the Andor stuff. Of course, we talked about Bad Batch for like 2 hours. Yeah, we didn't get to the Ahmed Best stuff. Okay, before I do the call-ins, before anybody gets in here for the call-ins, let me get to this Ahmed Best stuff first, okay? So before anybody calls in here, let me go to this. Ahmed Best, who of course is known for playing Jar Jar Binks in the prequel trilogy, and came back recently to play Kelleran Beck in Save Grogu. As you can see him here as Kelleran Beck on his Instagram. He saves Grogu from the Jedi Temple. He just posted this a few days ago on his Instagram. And this was pretty damn cool. So this is him in motion capture here. And his caption reads, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Hashtag motion capture or mocap, hashtag Star Wars, hashtag Jar Jar Binks, hashtag Activision, hashtag Jedi, hashtag Sith Lord, and hashtag Kelleran Beck." Okay, why is this significant? First of all, he's in motion capture. If he was playing Kelleran Beck, he would not be in motion capture. Second of all, he put in a hashtag Jar Jar Binks, and that would involve a lot of motion capture. The only difference here is the hashtag Activision. Now, not only is it hashtag Activision, but he also put on his story, and stories only last 24 hours, so it is gone, but he put on his story a picture of him at the Activision headquarters or something along those lines. He was at Activision's working there. And Activision, for those of you who don't know, is a gaming company. It is a company that creates video games. They are most known probably for creating Call of Duty video games. But Jar Jar is in the Rey movie. Yes, Ian, that's exactly where I'm going. No, I'm not. But is this a return of Jar Jar Binks in a video game? Is this a return of Jar Jar Binks in a show? Is this a return of Kelleran Beck in a video game? Because then that would make more sense. Kelleran Beck does not require motion capture. You know what does? If he's in a video game. Now, a lot of people said, well, maybe Kelleran Beck is going to show up in Jedi 3, the Jedi games, the third Jedi game. The only problem with that is Activision does not make those games. Respawn does. So he would not be at Activision. Now, right now, as far as we know, there's not a video game from Star Wars being worked at Activision. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there is not a game being developed by Activision that's a Star Wars game that could involve Jar Jar or Kelleran Beck or whomever. Think about Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws, we had no idea was coming until it was announced last year. We had no clue that Ubisoft was making a game called Star Wars Outlaws, an open world game where you can pretty much do anything until it happened. So what if this is an Activision game that they're working on for Star Wars that's either a Jar Jar Binks is involved in the game or it's Kelleran Beck and the game is you saving Grogu? I really don't know, but it definitely gets the people going. And I want to know what you guys think. What could this possibly mean? Why would he be in motion capture? Why would he be at Activision? And why would he talk about, like some people said, maybe it's not related to Star Wars at all. He put hashtag Star Wars, hashtag Jar Jar, hashtag Kelleran, hashtag Jedi, hashtag Sith Lord. It obviously has something to do with Star Wars. And he says, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Speaking about Star Wars as well. So, what do we think? What do we think? Kellentar, is that how you pronounce that? TEG says, haha. Very well put. Could not have said it better myself. Definitely could not have said that better myself. Jar Jar Binks is in the Rey movie? I hope not. I hope not. Rey would battle the Yuzon Vong. That would be cool. That would be cool. That would be cool. Anthony says, wait, what? Your bird is watching the stream with me? Cool. Anthony says, Mike, I don't want to see a quality character like Abeloth be used to prop up the stakes for the Rey project. I swear, the film is better off just starting for a startup for the future. I agree with that, but if the movie's going to be good and have Abeloth in it, I'd way rather that. The return of Darth Jar Jar, he does put Sith Lord in there, hashtag Sith Lord, but that might just be to get people going, you know? Get the people going. Rose says, I'm partway through listening to Fate of the Jedi Book 4, The Abyss. It has Abeloth in it. Yeah, so Fate of the Jedi is like a 9-series book series, and it does have Abeloth in it. That's actually the introduction, I believe, of Abeloth for the first time. Yeah, but it is Legends for now. Is Hunter a talking bird? That's a good question. Is he a talking bird? TEG says, oh, hell no. He's going to destroy everyone. What are you talking about? Darth Jar Jar? It's possible. He could destroy everybody. It's definitely possible that he could destroy everybody. How have we been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes? Did we really talk about the Bad Batch that long at the beginning part of this stream? How is that even possible? How does this keep happening? I don't know. This is a longer stream for sure. Longer than I thought we were going to go. He was the reason why Palpatine has Sith powers. That's true. Jar Jar is the reason that he gave all the power to Palpatine. It is kind of funny how Jar Jar was like a hated character because of The Phantom Menace. And then fans kind of galvanized behind him. And even though he gave all the power to Palpatine and ruined the entire galaxy, fans still don't have too much of a problem with him. It's kind of funny. All right, if you guys want to do call-ins, you can head in there now. I'm probably going to make them really quick if we do them at all because it's been so long already on the stream. We do have to get on out of here fairly soon. So if you do want to do a call-in, I'll give you the option to do that, but it'd have to be really, really quickly. Yeah. If not, we can always do call-ins on Tuesday when we do the predictions for the Bad Batch episode right before the episode gets released. I'm going to end this poll, see where this poll ended at. Let's see. See if the math is mathing. It is not, but that's okay. Who do you guys think that the return is referring to? Which we talked about for an hour and a half, I guess. Asajj Ventress is 55% of you guys think it's Asajj Ventress. 22% think Crosshair, so they think it's probably the minimal. 17 say other, which could be Tech, which could be Wolf, which could be anybody. And Cad Bane and Fennec Shan is only 5%. 5%, which is interesting. Because I think Cad Bane and Fennec Shan are going to be in this episode this week. Star Wars for Life says, I had a sleepover with a friend, and me and her talked about the Bad Batch till 5 a.m. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Tech would be a bomber. Would be a bomber, for sure. All right, I think I'm going to get on out of here. We'll do call-ins on Tuesday, I promise. We'll do call-ins on Tuesday, I promise. Okay? We'll do that instead. So I'm going to end this call-in thing anyway. Disconnect. Here we go. Okay. Let me read these last couple chats, and then we'll get on out of here. TEG says, what happened to Ventress in the Clone Wars? Well, Ventress ends in a weird spot in the Clone Wars where she helps out Ahsoka and then kind of just disappears. She's a bounty hunter. And in the book, Dark Disciple, we find out that she becomes a Jedi. She falls in love with Quinlan Voss. She actually dies, so to speak. So that'll need some explaining to do, for sure, in The Bad Batch, or in Tales of the Jedi, if she's in that. Anthony says, as I've said, Mike, I hope it is Jar Jar. Kelleran Beck, his twin brother, Ahmed Beck, Padme, okay, Bail Organa, Quinlan, etc., are saving the Jedi survivors. That'd be pretty cool. Kelleran Beck, I don't think, is the same character as Jar Jar, that's for sure. But yeah. Tech, there is no way Fee is going to lose her man. Tech, there's no way Fee's going to lose her man. I don't know about that. I think she already did. All right. I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate all you guys more than you will ever know. Another incredible stream. This was a very long stream. 2 hours and 14 minutes is absolutely insane. But TEG takes us out with dead people come back eventually in series. That's true. And Asajj is definitely one. Asajj's body was taken to Dathomir, so she was brought back to life in that way, I think. Yeah, I think the Night Sister magic is obviously going to be very important to her story and very important to what's to come. Yeah. Night Sister magic is always going to be important, especially moving forward with Ahsoka and all the Night Sisters and Thrawn having Night Sisters and all that stuff. Anthony says Jar Jar will be a secret rebel operative / member of the Hidden Path, and uses his formal / native goofy persona as a cover. Well, Jar Jar goes to be a street performer on Naboo, so I hope he gets a better ending than that. Yeah. Maybe Jar Jar is going to be in Jedi Survivor 3. Again, that could be it, but Activision doesn't make those games, so I doubt it. Yeah. David, what's up? Says, didn't Jar Jar die? From what we know, no. All we know from canon is that he goes back to Naboo. And from what we read in canon is he becomes a street performer, but even that could change. We don't know what happens to Jar Jar after the prequel trilogy, so literally anything could happen. You could bring him in anywhere. Yeah. TEG says, some streams go on for 11 hours. Well, not these. 11 hours? What? How is that even possible? How do you not eat, sleep, pee your pants? Please, no more Jar Jar? I want more Jar Jar. Come on. You don't want to see how Jar Jar's character ends? Come on. TEG says, I know, right? Yeah, how do you go for 11 hours? Do you just... That sounds bad. Let's not do that. Let's go for 2 hours and 17 minutes. Those are long streams for me. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate all you guys. Hit a like button if you have not yet. Hit subscribe if you have not yet, which I don't know what you're waiting for. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We hit 9,000 this week. I cannot appreciate you more for hitting that subscribe. So hit that subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel other than becoming a member, other than just showing up and watching, all that stuff. Watch out for a video tomorrow. Watch out for a video hopefully Monday as well. And may the Force be with you. Always. TEG just subbed. Thank you, TEG. I appreciate that quite a bit. I appreciate the hearts, too, in the chat. What a great stream. What a great show. This was a great stream, I must say. This is a pretty great stream. The last couple Saturday streams have really been hitting pretty hard. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.